everyone, welcome back. My name is Alex and this is Budget Me Alex. I am a 29-year-old all-cash budgeter. I am on a journey to be completely debt-free, as well as I do have some pretty big savings goals, so if you are interested in this kind of content, just go ahead and continue watching. I am so sorry, you guys. I really meant to do a cash stuffing on Saturday like I normally do, but last week there was no way that I could get ahead of schedule just because it was wedding week for my friends. My boyfriend was the best man and I was the maid of honor. And every day something just kept coming up as far as like needing our help with anything, or it was just a little bit wild. And then Saturday was the wedding, so we were just completely exhausted at that point. But I'm sorry. I will be back on track, and today I will officially be answering all of the questions from the Q&A. I do have those on my laptop right next to me. So as far as the coins, I did have to put back a few just because they weren't enough to fill up a roll. So it's okay. It's like we kind of got an early start with that. And then all the coins that I have here, which were quite a bit this week. And then my money's kind of scattered all over the place. I was kind of just pulling from wherever. So we're a little bit unorganized this morning, but it's all right. Money's money. It's still coming out of the same wallet. And then as far as my receipts go, if any of you guys have Fetch rewards or Ibotta or anything like that, if you don't, I do always have my referral code linked in the description below. I do scan all my receipts, and that does add up to points or gift cards or even cash depending on which app you use. I have Ibotta, Fetch, Shopkick, Drop, Upside for gas, so I will be scanning all of this afterwards. And let's see if we had money and where it went. So okay, let's see, we had 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I don't even know where all this money is coming from, honestly. We have 20, 40, 50, 51, 52. I don't know how I have so much in my wallet. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So we are at 20, 40, 60, 70, 71, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 80, 81, 82, 83. I don't know where I ended up with so many ones, but there we go. Okay, so I am going to start off with the first question. Oh, sorry, I didn't even tell you guys how much I was stuffing. I am stuffing $883 today, just because a couple of those things were already in my bank account, so we are doing $883. That's just a few dollars short. So gas, groceries, and eating out. I'm just gonna say this all before so that I just can answer these questions. Gas, groceries, and eating out are going to be getting $50 each. Personal gets $25 and miscellaneous gets $5. So first question is, which I actually got this one a lot, are you and your boyfriend planning on getting married? Yes, we definitely are. It is in our future. I want to say near future, but you know what? He doesn't give me any hints whatsoever. He wants me to be as surprised as I possibly can be when he proposes. So I will not have any kind of timeline, deadline, or anything like that for you guys. There are no dates in my head. There are no seasons as far as when I'm getting married, because I don't even know when I'm getting engaged. So you guys are going to find out with me, but we definitely have had that conversation. We talk about it a lot. We talk about our future a lot, and that is somewhere in the works. But again, I'm not gonna know. The first one that he said is going to know is going to be my older sister, Chastity, and then from there, my dad. So yeah, until then, we're kind of in the dark. But yes, the plan is to get married. And then next question is, do my sisters budget? They all budget, they just all have different forms of budgeting. So my sister, my older one, she's obviously married. She budgets with her husband. They have their own system. My sister right after me she budgets as well, but cash just has never really worked for her. It's not really her thing, so she prefers just everything electronically. My youngest sister, she's the one that cash budgets. I taught her how to do this years ago, and she really fell in love with how fast she could build her savings. And so she's been doing it ever since, and she really likes it. She has all her little envelopes that I made her and everything. And as well as my boyfriend and a few other friends do the system as well. My boyfriend, I don't think he does it 100%, but he does have certain categories that he does want to build a lot faster, so that's where he budgets with cash. So yeah, that is that answer. Mazda has 1, 2, 220, 240, 250, 260, 261, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, next question. How long have you been cash stuffing? So I started cash stuffing in 2021. It was kind of 2020 going into 2021. I had 2 jobs and I couldn't figure out why my paychecks were so nice, but why I didn't have any money in my bank account, as well as I was very overwhelmed with the amount of debt that I had. And my sister's wedding was approaching and I was going to be the maid of honor. And I was stressing about how much I was going to be able to help her. She's my older sister and my best friend. I wanted to help her or do for her as much as I possibly could without struggling and without using credit cards, because at the time my credit cards were basically maxed out. So I came across this cash system, cash budgeting on YouTube, and I thought, wow, that looks easy enough. I could do it. I started doing it, and I can't even tell you how quickly I began to save money. My debt went from $18,000 to $6,000. I was able to put, I won't tell you how much I contributed to her wedding or her parties or anything like that, but I was able to put a significant amount towards my sister's wedding. I came out of that without a single debt on any credit card or anything like that. Everything that I contributed was cash. So I didn't put anything on any credit card. At the time, I was like simultaneously paying off my credit cards. And because it worked so well, I didn't look back after that. I fell in love with it and I haven't stopped. So car insurance has 20, 40, 50, 60, 65, 70, 71, 72. Next question. How did you and your boyfriend meet? A lot of people wanted to know this. So my boyfriend and I have actually been attending the same church for several years. We always attended the same church, but we didn't actually meet until we got into like the college and career group. So I would say, dang, I don't even remember how old we were. But anyway, it started off with a small group of us. It's funny because our dads actually worked together. And so our dads knew each other, but we never really talked to each other until we got into this group. Life insurance has 50, 100, 150. And so it became this small little group. It was one other friend and my sister, and then it was my boyfriend and me. And so we all became this little friend group. And one of our friends, she ended up getting like really busy with life and everything like that. And then my sister and her boyfriend were together at the time. So she ended up getting really busy with her boyfriend. And then my boyfriend and I, who was just my friend at the time, it ended up just being the two of us left in the group. And we ended up becoming best friends. And we would always go out together. He would just randomly call me after he would get out of work and be like, hey, what are you doing? I'm hungry. Do you want to go get something? And I was like, sure, let's go. And so we were just really good friends for a really long time. And then eventually we kind of just started liking each other and started flirting here and there. And yeah, years later, we have now been together for about 2.5 years. And yeah, that is how we met in church, basically. Started off as friends. And it's funny, our dads knew each other before we did, but that's how the story went. And I'm so glad that it ended up being my best friend. Verizon now has 20, 40, 41. I really, random side note, but I had come out of a really rough relationship prior to this one. And I remember just praying like, God, please let this next person be the person, and please let them have been my friend before anything else, because I want to know that I know them completely. Let me know them as a friend with no intention of anything before they can actually be something more. And he let me be with my best friend. So yeah, I absolutely love that. And he still is my best friend to this day. So subscriptions gets 20 and Disney gets 10. Okay, next question. I could talk about my boyfriend all day, so I'm gonna move on. What was the Experian category you had? This is gonna be a quick one. Basically, I am I'm just very hyper focused on credit repair, and the Experian app kind of allows me to constantly monitor with the latest updates, with any inquiries, with any, like, it's super fast. It's actually really reliable. Everything gets updated to the bureaus really quickly. So I can see, you know, instead of waiting like every month to see where my, you know, score changed, I can literally check it on a weekly basis and see if there were any adjustments to any points or anything like that. And so that's why I pay the $24 a month. Rent has 100, 200, 300, 400, 450, 500. This one, I really like this question. And first, I'm going to say that every utility here gets $5. So we'll just start there. This question says, how did you build your relationship with God? And I was born and raised in church, and I did grow up in a Pentecostal church. I still attend a Pentecostal church, and some people might think we are just a little bit different than the other Christian churches or whatever. But electric 20, 30, 40, 20, 30, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80. And so we originally came from a church. It was in Los Angeles. It was just a little bit further than kind of where we live, so we ended up having to look for somewhere closer. But that was the church that we were born and raised in, and we are still really close to the people there just because we grew up like family, and a lot of my family did attend that church. It just began to be really difficult with distance. So then we ended up moving to a church closer to us, and same exact beliefs. It was basically like we were listening to the same message, the same preaching. And, you know, when you grow up in church, you kind of get a little bit more comfortable. They say sometimes it's easier for someone to believe when they don't know anything about God than to believe when you've been born and raised in it, just because you get really comfortable with everything around you. So I had seen everything. I had, you know, all the experiences of people. Like, I have witnessed so much, but when you're born and raised in that kind of environment, you just get really comfortable, and you kind of just like, well, I'm used to seeing that. That's nothing new to me. Gas has 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 36. And so it wasn't until, and you know, the way we believe is obviously like it's a relationship with God. It's not like acts or anything like that. Like, it is a relationship. It is personal. And I want to say that I didn't really start to experience God for myself until high school. It was just a little bit rough for me, and I felt like he was exactly what he said he was. He was a friend that was closer than a brother. And that's when it was my senior year, I really started to have my own experience with God. And then years passed, and I'd get comfortable, and then I'd be on fire for God, and then I'd get comfortable and I'd be on fire for God. And in 2016, a lot happened. A lot happened that year. Water has 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. So, and I guess this is kind of going into my testimony a little bit without so much detail, but a lot happened that year, and I felt like my faith was at its weakest point. And, you know, I just began to ask God so many questions as to why this was happening, why it was happening to me. Like, what is he doing? What is he working on? What's going on? Internet has 15. And I really, really felt like in that moment, I felt like my prayers just weren't leaving the four corners of my wall. in my room, and I was just like, you know, who am I even speaking to at this point? And in that moment, don't know if I would recommend it or not, but I did challenge God. And I said, you know what, if you're real and if you are as personal as you say you are, and if you do exist in my life, and if you know exactly at the point that I am in, then I need you to prove that to me, and I need you to show yourself to me in a way that I cannot deny that it is you. And when I tell you guys that he showed up, you know, you challenge God, he's gonna make himself known. I'll tell you that right now. Quicksilver has 30. And so I really felt like I was going crazy at the time. Honestly, I was really deep into depression, and I will say it was a little bit self-inflicted at some point, but I felt like there was absolutely no clarity in my mind. I was in such a fog. Apple has 20. And I just felt really numb at the time. And in that moment, I was in my room, and I just remember I was just crying. And I would wake up every night at the same time in the middle of the night, just bursting in tears with anxiety. And in that moment, I felt like God, I literally felt, and you guys might think I'm crazy, but I literally felt hands on top of my head. And I felt like someone had like put this giant blanket over me. Like if you guys ever feel like a weighted blanket, I literally felt like someone had covered me, and it was just like this, I was engulfed in just like what just felt like so much love and just kindness. And I just started crying because I knew for a fact, it was undeniable to me that that was God, and he made himself real to me that day. And he really had shown me exactly who he was. And Capital One has $40. And as angry as I was in that time, he still loved me. And as confused as I was, he was still there. And in that time, in that season, I really felt like he understood the fragility of my faith and, you know, the weakness of my humanity. And he understood that. And he became so real to me. And he became personal to me, not my parents, not my friends, not my pastors. He became personal to me. And why would I not want a relationship with someone so great? You know, why would I not want a relationship for someone who died personally for me? And if he hadn't died for anyone else on this planet, if I was the one person in the crowd watching him on that cross, he would have still died for me. And I can't turn away from that. I can't turn away from the love that I've experienced from him, and it just makes me want to know him more. And the more that I know him, I just, you know, and the more that I know his character, you just fall more in love. And it's not anything that has to be forced. It's not anything that it's like nobody's forcing me to read my Bible in the morning. I read it because I want to know him, and that's my communication with him as well as prayer. Like I get to know him more. You know, I text my boyfriend because I love him and I want to talk to him throughout the day. So why wouldn't I read my Bible to know God and love him more every day as well? So that's my whole story on that. My relationship with him just grew so much more. You know, like I don't know. I can't say enough. If you guys want to know more, if you guys want more in-depth testimony, I'll definitely give that. I do not mind. I like to talk about this all day, every day. But, you know, for the sake of the length of this video and how many questions we have, I'm going to keep going. But for savings has 15. Yeah, but for the person that asked that, you know, I love that you are, I did read the whole comment, and, you know, just get to know him. Even if you don't know how to start praying, just have a conversation, you know. He understands where you're at. Have a conversation with him. Sometimes I'll, you know, just be sitting in my room and I can literally tell him, like, God, I don't know what to pray right now, but I do want to be in your presence. And if there's anything in this time, if I can't think of anything to say, if this is a moment for me to listen, then just speak to me in whatever way that you have for me today, and I'm here to listen. So yeah, I'm gonna move on to the next question. Okay, this one's not as heavy. What do you do for work? And basically, I do several things for income at this point, you guys. I don't know, some people can't believe how much I do, but I've always been like this ever since I was a kid. I would always do something for money, and it was just, I don't know, it was a lot of fun. So let's see, I have $38 for my 50 envelope challenge, 20, 30, 35, 36, 37, 38. So basically, my parents own a trucking company who is one of Amazon's carriers. So they are in connection with Amazon. And I am currently, right now that my sister is on maternity leave, I'm currently their senior dispatch. It is a full family business. Everyone is fully involved. All three sisters, my aunt, my dad, my mom, my boyfriend even. So we all are a part of this. Even my grandpa helps every once in a while. And I work 13-hour days, 7 days a week. I don't get any days off from that. Like I said, it's a family business. So, you know, you work around the clock, and that's kind of just how it goes. So we have 20, 40, 50, 60, 65, 70, 71, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, I basically am in charge of the drivers, any mechanical breakdowns. I make sure that the drivers arrive on time. If there's any delays, if there's any issues with facilities, I'm constantly in communication with Amazon to fix any of the issues that might be over the road or on facilities. So I can essentially work from anywhere. As long as I have my phone, I can work from wherever I'm at. That is bittersweet because I feel like everywhere I go, I am on my phone. Doesn't matter what kind of event it is, I have my phone on hand just because I don't know who might be reaching out to me. So yeah, it's cool. And then, you know, you kind of just got to roll with it. It's family business. We're all here for help. So that's just the way that it is. We work on vacation, and there are no days off. There are slower days, there are busier days, but there are never any days off. The only one that really, like, there are some people that get more set schedules. For instance, my aunt, my boyfriend, my two younger sisters, but my mom, my older sister, and I are normally around the clock. So yeah, it's just a little bit different. We're a little bit more involved with that. Okay, so next, on top of that, I do have 2 YouTube channels, an Etsy shop. I do manage my Amazon storefront, and just little things that I randomly do. Sometimes I'll do people's hair. Sometimes I'll do their makeup for events. Sometimes I've been asked to babysit or do some certain things. I don't know. There's always something, and I'm just always willing to go for it because why not? So, and actually, you know what I'm considering doing that look like a lot of fun is like Amazon. It's kind of like, I guess kind of like DoorDash or Uber or whatever. Instead of actually working for Amazon, you just pick up little shifts and you deliver packages. That looks like a lot of fun. I heard there's a waiting list for applying, but I kind of want to do it. It'd be something cool to do on the weekends just for some extra cash. So I'm considering it. Definitely an idea. But let's see. There's only 3 more questions or 2 more questions. Okay, do you plan on celebrating after paying off your debt? Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Wow. Yes, I definitely do plan on celebrating because that is definitely something to celebrate. I mean, that is a huge milestone. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. So if you guys have any ideas, by all means, I am open to suggestions. But I definitely want to celebrate because that is something I've been trying to accomplish for a really long time. So if you guys have any suggestions as far as what I should do to celebrate paying off my debt, let me know. I'm open to it. And then let's see here. What do I do? Okay, so what happened to my smiley face envelopes, and what do I do with the ones that I no longer use? So like when I change my setup, for instance. So I do keep all of my envelopes. I don't necessarily think that I reuse any of them. I really don't. Just because my style, I feel like, is constantly changing. So I don't reuse them, but sometimes what I like to do is, since I do have an Etsy shop, I do plan on coming out with more products, and I eventually want to make my own envelopes to sell. Then I like to keep those kind of just to see how they were constructed, what materials they use, things like that, so that I can eventually do that for myself. and start selling. So sometimes I just keep them as reference as like a little draft, but I am willing to give them away. I mean, I don't know, I feel like I use all my envelopes until they're kind of like to the ground, but there are some that are in good condition, and I don't know if you guys want, I don't know, would you want those? Like if I give them away? I don't know, that's something you can leave in the comments. And then very last question, out of all three of your sisters, who is the most similar and who is the most opposite? There's four of us with four complete different personalities. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. My older sister is definitely an older sister personality. I'm very stubborn, opinionated, and I'm blunt. My third sister, she's a little bit similar to me, but at the same time, she also has the older sister personality, just because the gap between us kind of made her an older sister again. They say after a certain amount of years, you're technically like the older child personality all over again. So I think that's her. And then my youngest sister, she's very peace and love all around. She's very chill, very mellow, not dramatic at all, never raises her voice, real calm. So I really couldn't even tell you who's the most similar and who's the most opposite. And we all get along with each other, honestly, pretty well. We're just really, really close group. I will say all my sisters and I are just really close. We can basically tell anyone anything at this point, even if they're 10 years younger than us. We're still super close. We all love shopping together. We all like having sleepovers. I don't know. We're all really opposite in a lot of ways, but we're still extremely close. So I really can't answer that question, but thank you guys so much. If you stayed all the way to the end, I really appreciate you. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. It'll really support my channel, and I'll see you guys all next week. Bye.